So it's right around 8:41 p.m. now on Tuesday, May 21st. I just made a video like 10 minutes ago about how I just spent the last 2.5 hours cleaning this entire place, sweeping the floor, shaking out my sheets, making the bed, putting things away, just generally managing the clutter and the organized mess, and literally cleaning. So I have washcloths being rinsed out in the sink right now. Um, but I've just been sitting here wrapping up my dinner and texting my sister. And this is my second phone. I mentioned my second phone briefly in my YouTube videos, but nobody has the number of my second phone. I don't mention it in any of my videos, and I don't show that phone number on my videos on YouTube. But weirdly enough, I just received a phone call just now. The creep in 88 is smacking the wall again. I think he's the one making the phone calls. Every time I talk about getting these weird, creepy phone calls from a private number that doesn't even show up on my call log. I guess private numbers don't show up on your call log. I mean, this is somebody who obviously knows how to not make their number show up on someone's call list. Yeah. The most recent phone call on this phone was from yesterday. But just 5 minutes ago, while I was sitting here texting my sister, someone dialed this second phone, the number of which nobody knows. My dad doesn't even have this second phone number. The number for the second phone is basically private. My sister doesn't have it. My dad doesn't have it. You know, I just use it basically for backup. And somebody just called this number just now, same creepy voice, and said, "I'm going to murder you." I'm pretty sure it's the psycho in 88. It's just, he's obsessed with Halloween movies. I mean, like, he was literally watching Halloween, the movie, for like 5 hours the other day. Every time I walked past the door to his unit, you could hear the Halloween theme song, do 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 do, you know. And he literally just constantly watches movies where women are getting slashed. There's constantly screaming in what he watches. I mean, you can hear it. He blasts this stuff. You don't even have to try to listen. It literally blasts into the hallway, and you can hear it up and down the hallway. I'm pretty sure it's that creep who it sounds like his voice. I mean, he's obviously disguising his voice to try to sound scary, like a serial killer in a horror movie, but it sounds like his voice. I'm pretty good at discerning people's voices. It's not a high-pitched voice. It's kind of a raspy, lower decibel voice. And he used the word murder just now. He said, "I'm going to murder you." And I actually picked up the call because I thought maybe it's like one of my family members who is calling, you know, there's an emergency or something. So I picked up the call from a private number that doesn't show up on my call list. And sure enough, that was a mistake. I should have let it go to voicemail. Not sure what his deal is. He's obviously mentally disturbed because he also, as far as I can tell, he just watches slasher movies and porn. Earlier this afternoon, while I was taking some recycling out to the rear stairwell, you could hear him listening to fairly loud porn movies, and it went on for like an hour and a half. So he's severely disturbed and smacks the wall whenever I talk about him. That's, I mean, I don't know. People keep telling me they can hear and see what I do in here. The thug directly below came up to my door 8 weeks ago now, and was shouting at me in front of my door while blocking my access to my own apartment that I have legs shaped like a man, bad skin and fur on my face, and nasty teeth. How does he know anything about my face or my teeth or the hair on my face unless he can see what I do in here? Because I don't go anywhere near that piece of low-life scum from 76 below who has some serious violence issues. And then he shoved me. When I tried getting back into my door, he physically shoved me, and the police were called. So, you know, when psycho thugs like that can see what you do in your apartment, well, there's a problem, and they tell you they can see what you do. I mean, they're doxing themselves, right? So the creep in 88 smacks the wall when I mentioned that these phone calls, these obscene phone calls, it goes very well with the kind of movies that he's constantly watching, and the fact that he watches Halloween over and over and over, or maybe he watches, you know, all of the Halloween movies, but it's always Halloween, like the movie with that soundtrack. You can tell it's Halloween because of the soundtrack. So, you know, I've watched the first like 4 movies of the Halloween series. I'm fairly familiar with those movies and with the soundtrack. You're constantly hearing women screaming. It's always screaming women, and they get slashed. And, it's not a surprise that the psycho thug pervert in 88 then makes calls to my phone numbers, although I don't know how he knows anything about the second phone number, and threatens to murder me, claims that he can see me when I sleep. He imitates the words that I use when I make videos, like, hey, you guys, because I often start my videos with, hey, guys, stuff like that. It's definitely somebody who has no life, who is mentally disturbed, has issues with women, can see or hear what I do in this unit, and has something to do with this building complex. I suspect it's the creep in 88. It could be anyone, but nobody has this number. So how did he get this number? Nobody has this number. Not even my best friend has this number. She has no idea what the phone number is to this phone. My dad doesn't know what the phone number is to this phone. My sister doesn't know what the phone number is to this phone. My brother does, but he's not going to start calling my phone and leaving obscene messages. So that's very weird. I think I need to call the police.
District 13, Officer Wood speaking to Science Dakota. How may I help you?
Yes, I'm calling because I live in the area right around the corner from the E13 station, and I've been receiving some phone calls on a phone that nobody should have the number to, and somebody has been threatening to kill me, and they tell me that they can see me when I sleep, and that they watch me when I sleep.
Okay, let me transfer to 911. They'll send a unit out to your house, and they can take your information and do a report. Okay, can you hold, please?
Sure, thank you.
Boston Police, this line is recorded. Operator 610, do you have an emergency?
Well, I just called the E13 station non-emergency number and told them that I've been getting death threats over the phone by somebody who is using a phone that I use as backup that nobody should have the phone number to. This person is calling from a private number and says that they're going to murder me and that they can watch me when I sleep, or that they watch me when I sleep.
Hold on 1 second. What's the address?
It is 5 Union Avenue in Jamaica Plain.
I'm sorry, the address one more time?
It is in Jamaica. 5 Union Ave in Jamaica Plain.
Okay, is there an apartment number?
It's apartment number 89.
Okay, and can I just have your callback number?
Yeah, so it is 617.
Like that.
Well, he never leaves his unit. He's constantly getting violent against the wall that his unit shares with my apartment. He spends most of his afternoons watching loud porn movies or violent slasher movies where women are constantly screaming and getting murdered. And he seems to watch some videos that I post on YouTube about what goes on around the apartment building, and he's constantly commenting on all of my videos. His name is Kevin. And it sounds like his voice on the voicemails, the several voicemails that he's left on my other phone, but he just called on the phone that nobody has the number to except my immediate family, and I don't know how he got that number.
Okay, so just to clarify, you said you make YouTube videos and he's constantly commenting under the videos?
Yeah, it's a YouTube channel where I just talk about what goes on in the building where I live, and that's why I think that it's somebody who lives in the building, because, there's no reason for anybody to be doing this that doesn't know anything about the building.
And when he makes the comments under the videos, are any of them threatening?
Yeah, they're more like, this is a crazy bitch, and nobody should listen to what she says. But there's a lot of aggression and nasty comments. It's never a nice comment. He's always making nasty comments. I've told him to stop making nasty comments on my videos, and he keeps doing it anyway. Sometimes 3 or 4 comments in a row. So I have a few of
How
his.
would he have gotten your phone number?
Well, I have 2 cell phones. One of them is for backup. The other one is for making phone calls. So the one that I use all the time, sometimes I mention the number on my YouTube videos, but the other phone I never use unless it's an emergency. And not even my dad has the phone number to that phone. So I don't know how he would have gotten that phone number unless he's living in the building. And he says he can see what I do in here. So it's possible he might have gotten the number to my other phone from just watching me dial my other, sometimes I try to call my other phone from my one phone to find the phone, and he might have access to that footage or audio. He's not the first person from my building who has said they can see what I do in here. All the immediate neighbors have confronted me about what I do in the privacy of my apartment over the last few months. So, 10 minutes ago, somebody just called my private phone that nobody should have the number to and said that his exact words were, "I'm going to murder you." And then he hung up.
What apartment does he live in?
Well, if it's the guy who I think it is, he lives directly next door to me in Unit 88.
One moment.
Sure, thank you.
And your first name?
The first name is Isabel, Isabelle.
I did put the call in for you. So the police should be there soon, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for your help.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. You can never be sure, but somebody who calls the second phone, that's a concern. How did they get that number? I never publish it unless they can see what I'm dialing when I use this phone. I dial this phone from this phone so that I can find this phone when I can't find it. So it's somebody who can see what I do in here, obviously.